How do you succeed in the corporate world? Well, it demands more than talent and expertise. To climb the corporate ladder, every step tests the strength of your character. Kaushala Amarasekara, the Sri Lankan corporate leader and marketing pioneer, didn't rise through privilege or shortcuts, but through her willpower, courage, and relentless commitment. Behind every achievement she carries today is a story of a woman who chose growth over comfort. Today, we dive into her journey to uncover the moments that shaped her, the decisions that defined her, and the spirit that made her rise.
Kaushala Amarasekara, your success in the corporate sector is breathtaking. You started as a young management trainee, then went on to become an award-winning marketing and branding leader, and today you are the vice president and the chief marketing officer of one of the most successful private banks in Sri Lanka, which is one of the most greatest accomplishments somebody can make. And you could educate and inspire the next generation. And in terms of your accountability, in terms of your leadership, in terms of your expertise, and what I want to grasp in this entire deep dive movie of yours is the essence behind the choices you made that got you to where you're today. So looking forward to how you feel about it.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. I'm very excited too. And Jude, certainly this journey has not been an easy one. It was a series of choices. I did not start with a big plan as such. And of course, I have grown into it. And for me, accountability is one of the key virtues that I believe, and I think I'm responsible to giving back to the people who trusted me. So Jude, growth doesn't happen from where you are. You have to always step out of your comfort zone. That's where I believe that consistency and basically being true to yourself, integrity, accountability, there are key virtues that actually has helped me to come to this position where I am.
I'm pretty sure we're going to dive deep into that, and the audience is going to take a lot away from it. Looking forward for it.
Thank you.
So Kaushala, thanks for being here, and it's incredible to have you and share your story over here. I want to first start by going 19 years back to where you started, because today you're a CMO, you have climbed the top level leadership, and I want to go 19 years back to where you started as a management trainee. What I want to know is it's a bit for entering the corporate world. It's a different game,
of course,
and you took the challenge. What was your mentality at that time?
So Jude, yes, 19 years ago, that reveals my age. When I started off my career, I had no clue, absolutely no clue in terms of what I was getting myself into. I was fresh right after college. I finished my bachelor's degree, and then I started working, and that was the first interview that I faced, that I got myself as a management trainee at a reputed company. And so I didn't know, because I didn't have anyone in my family to actually ask for advice as well, because none of them were in the corporate world. And I like the whole phrase of like working in an office. That's the only thing that I liked, and I was going to work.
So basically, what inspired you to, there are different professions by which you go through.
Yes.
And of course, you're from the business management background.
Yes.
And what was the exact? Let's just make the audience, because whoever the youngster listening right now, in your state, must be a little bit nervous. What was your mentality going in at that moment?
Yes, so when I first started off as a management trainee, it was just overall training in terms of the various sectors that the management trainee batch at that time they were taken into. So we did not know in terms of which area that we will be put into, and so it was all a big you needed to be out there and go out there and seek what's out there. So it was very challenging, and I wouldn't know what exactly that was expected of me. So that made it very interesting. Of course, I was scared, and I was also having a doubt. There was a doubt in terms of, will I fit into this job? What should I do next? Should I learn things around me? So it was that curiosity that kept me going.
It's very important, isn't it?
And initially, it was not marketing per se that currently I am in, that I got myself into. It was actually in my second job that the leadership realized that, she's quite good as a brand person.
Okay.
And they picked me for a brand related job.
Beautiful.
So that's how I got myself into marketing.
Okay. We have a lot to talk about that,
Yes.
in the coming stage. What I need to know is, really get to the emotion of it. What were some of the challenges that you went through in the initial phase when you started your career in the corporate world? Because corporate world is a
Yes.
capture competitive world, right? And you've been very young entering the space. What are some of the challenges that you had to go through? If you can name a few from memory, and how did you tackle them off?
Okay, so initial stages, Jude, I would say that it was a fear of unknown,
Okay.
right? There was absolutely no one to tell you exactly what is expected from you. Of course, you had your JD given, and then you knew what exactly, roughly what your job role is and what you should be doing day out. But then there's that whole fear of unknown, because it's you don't have anyone to mentor you, even in school, to tell you this is what's expected of you in the corporate world. And of course, there were the computers, and it's not as grown. Even digital marketing did not exist at that time. We did not have a way to really figure things out from social media.
Yes.
Actually,
Sure.
and there were no, of course, this day and age, there's so many tutorials and there's so many things out there that you can actually get your hands on and start learning. But 20 years ago, or 19 years ago to be exact, it's actually 19 plus, those things were not available.
Yeah.
So it is through, by being in the job, you take one day at a time.
Yeah.
You talk to your mentors, you talk to your peers, it's on the job training. So it's that whole attitude that you have, where you actually want to be there, to be seen out there, and also to be part of those projects that happen, that will give you, it's through experience and one day at a time that you will actually step into the corporate world.
So during the process, did you have challenges again that came across to you that, questioned you whether you belong here?
Of course, yes. That self-doubt was there almost every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I would question myself, oh my God, is this the job that I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Am I good enough? So that, Joe, to be honest, it actually happens not only at the earlier stage, but it's something that happens over a period of time as well. But that is good, because that's what will keep you going.
Okay.
When you doubt yourself, when you think, are you good enough? That will make you learn new things. You will want to have that need to be a better person. So that's a very good thing to have. But of course, that fear should not stop. I think if it doesn't scare you, you're not going to be successful.
It actually, sometimes if you can really use self-doubt to your advantage through your mental strength,
Yes.
that can be your driver.
Yeah.
Because knowing that you can fail at something,
Yes.
it prepares you to protect it.
Yes.
Because if you just go in a very, very reckless way,
Yes.
then you're going to just throw it off.
Yes, I mean, I'm not saying not to have your confidence. You have to be confident. You have to be seen as confident. But if I'm to tell you what kept me going to achieve a success in the corporate life, was that self-doubt. I am always thinking, I'm always doubting myself. And I was lucky enough to be involved or to be included in certain projects, certain meetings by the top management in majority of the companies at a very young age. That kind of did give me the confidence. But I would always wonder, I'm out there, am I needed here? Should I be here? Should I be bettering myself? How should I contribute? And I think initially I was sort of an introvert.
Okay.
I know it, being in this field, everybody would question me, are you sure about that? But I think I was. And so that kind of kept me pushing further and further. And also in terms of the learning, that really helped me to open up, learn new things, and push the boundaries. And also, one thing, from the beginning, what I focused was, I never stayed in a comfortable position.
Okay.
I would always want to step out of my comfort zone, Jude. And that's what kind of helped in terms of achieving success.
That's a beautiful statement. I think because the youth itself is, you're very young, you have the energy, you have the drive. Then stepping out of the comfort zone is what most youngsters don't do today.
Yes.
So I think the perfect way to say is if you can give somebody at your same stage, very young, early 20s,
Yes.
they are worried about, taking a risk in life.
Yes.
How would you advise them to have the bravery
Yes.
to step out of that comfort zone?
Yes, I think I've written a blog article as well where I completed a decade in my professional corporate world about how you should step out of the comfort zone. So stepping out of the comfort zone has really helped me to grow, and it has also helped me to kind of unlearn and learn new things. The moment I get comfortable, a lot of people, what they do is they take it easy. They think that, eyes closed, you can do your job. Yes, but there is at some point, that whole learning process stops. So your contribution wouldn't be as before. So stepping out of the comfort zone is one factor that really helped me to be successful in the corporate ladder.
Yeah. So why do you think that people they have the hesitation to step out of the comfort zone? It's a very easy logic to have.
Yes.
But what do you feel like what stops
It's the
there?
fear of unknown.
It's the fear of
Because you wouldn't know what you're going to get yourself into next. You wouldn't know what your next job title would be. You wouldn't know what sort of an organization, because you already know you have your network in the organizations that you currently work in. You have so much of doubt. And of course, every time you change jobs or you change certain things or you meet new people, whatever the opportunity that comes your way, I think everyone should embrace the opportunity, even though they wouldn't know what is expected from them.
Very true.
So even though that there is a lot of doubt out there, if there is an opportunity, you can take it up and then adjust yourself into that.
Very
So
true.
that's what I believe.
That's a beautiful message. I think every youngster can take away from it, because if you're feeling stuck,
Yeah.
just don't stick to that feeling.
Yeah.
Have the young bravery to step out.
Exactly.
And exactly what-
I have heard a lot of people staying in certain jobs or job roles that they don't like, or even situations. It can be even a life situation that they keep complaining about. So what I don't get is the logic of why you have to keep complaining if when you have the opportunity out there to take that step, be brave, be bold, go out there, take that step and change your life.
Beautiful, Kaushala. I think that's an amazing piece of advice that a young person can really take away from as we go forward in this, to have more wisdom from you that could really inspire them to take the next step in life.
My pleasure.
So, Kaushala, you are the Chief Marketing Officer, and you have been very much involved in the marketing and branding field. Where did the inspiration for this particular field come from?
So when I started off my journey, I was certainly not in marketing. And then I was picked by a leader at that time at my second job interview for branding and marketing.
Okay.
And that's when I got into this field. Of course, I did have my undergraduate studies in marketing, and also I am an accountant by profession as well.
Okay.
So it was a combination that really helped me to groom into this field of marketing. And it helped me because it was not just about the marketing strategies, but I could take calculated risks in terms of how I could make the marketing strategies a reality.
Okay. So basically, I want to know, you are involved in many campaigns throughout your career.
Yes.
And you told me some of the campaigns, but let's just go through the initial campaigns that you had to lead. Let's talk about the Airtel campaign, which was one of the major campaigns in Sri Lanka. And many would not know it's this amazing woman who was leading the campaign. Let's just walk through the campaign process, how it was, how did you mentally handle it at a young stage, handling people, and there were some celebrities which were out of the country that you had to deal with. How did you, as a leader at such a young age, how did you manage that campaign?
So it was one of the most exciting campaigns in my career. That kind of gave me the confidence and really shaped my career as well, because we did work with a lot of agencies and it was a very big task.
Yeah.
It was a very small team and it was a very, very big task in terms of launching the brand in Sri Lanka. So everything from what you see, the collaterals, you had to start from scratch. So I've worked in telcos now for a total of 12 years. So whatever you see out there, from the SIM card design to the SIM pack, had to be designed from scratch.
Okay.
So that was very exciting, and also was a lot of hard work. I was only about 24 years, and of course contributing to that campaign and that brand was phenomenal, especially at that time. So
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Let's go through, let's say, when you put up a campaign, everything, people have this fantasy, it's going to be the perfect thing, but the process is very tough. What are some of the key challenges you came across when you handle a campaign? Maybe in terms of people, maybe in terms of the campaign strategy. What are some of the challenges, and what was your mentality on battling those challenges when you execute a campaign?
Yes, Jude. So marketing is one of those functions where it's not inside out, but it's actually outside in.
Okay.
You have to know who your consumer is, who your target audience is, because whatever that you put out there, basically the company is reflected through the marketing efforts. So I always say this to my team as well, whatever we do, and that's how the company will be perceived. So it's a huge responsibility. Of course, there's a glamour part of it because you get to work with a lot of agencies, a lot of celebrities, and a lot of people as well. And then when it even comes to a certain launch event, it's so much of work that goes behind the scenes rather. And also in terms of the stress levels, everything has to be perfected. So it's not easy. It's not only what you see out there. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. For a particular campaign to be launched, we do our research. The market research is key in terms of identifying the insight, the gaps, and the target audience perceptions, how they think, what their current thinking patterns are, their behaviors. And then when we craft the strategy and also maybe a certain campaign, we obviously we gather an insight.
Okay.
And then when we build on that, it makes it more meaningful. So it's not just about beautiful pieces that you see out there. There's a lot of thinking that goes behind a particular strategy. So you need to see whether it fits your brand, how you talk, your what sort of a tone that you use, and if you're using certain influencers, whether it suits the brand. Whether it would affect negatively or positively. So there's a lot of research that happens behind that as well. And now so when I started off my career, we didn't have digital marketing. And now the buzzword is that, and there's so much that we do with digital marketing. There's so much of creativity that you can utilize as well. So marketing and branding is actually, I always say this, it's a philosophy.
Okay.
It's a combination of science. It's also like an art. So it's a combination of so many fields coming together. So you have to be very, very cautious in terms of every step that you take.
Yeah.
In terms of you have to go into the details, you have to check your language, you need to check your tone. Everything has to be basically perfected because that's how the consumer will perceive a particular brand, a product, or a company.
Very true. So, and the next part will be the culture as well, isn't it? Very much.
Yes,
Big time.
Yes.
So I want to go through the creative process. So let's say when you get a campaign, now you're a CMO, you're much at a higher leadership, but let's say the people who are handling campaigns or who have the dream to handle these big campaigns, what is Kaushala's creative and strategic process when it comes to these marketing and branding campaign handling?
Yes, so as I told earlier, there's a lot of research and I think a lot of insights that has to go through. So in my mind, before we start a particular campaign, you need to envision where your company is going to be positioned and you've got to take a helicopter view of the entire thing. It's not short-lived. Whatever the activity that we do, even if it is a small campaign and you select a particular medium or a channel, everything impacts to the long-term brand equity. So it's a culmination of things that we do that can actually create or actually make or build a brand. So in terms of a creative process, how I look into is that I do my research. Then of course I do look at the certain cost factors as well because I'm an accountant by profession. So that would really align one's business goals and objectives, and in terms if you're launching a new product, in terms of the ROI as well.
Good.
So I take that view in terms of it's not just about creativity and going all out there. Then of course there are certain companies that would consider marketing as a cost. But if in order to retain, in order for you to build your brand and to have a highest brand equity, you need to consider marketing as an investment.
Yes.
That's what most of the companies that has that brand value inbuilt, and where consumers will actually miss if that brand goes out of place. That's what they do. And also one of the other key things that I want to mention is that in terms of storytelling approach, a lot of people talk about storytelling. For me now, I believe it's about story keeping.
Ooh, I like the word.
Yes, you have to keep the story that you have built, and that's how you can actually give longevity to the campaigns that you're doing.
That again go with the consistent word you were saying. It's not about coming with different stories. It's about coming with one strategic story that you present in a very different way, isn't it?
Yes, because you need to have your brand values, and you cannot have, there should be consistency in terms of what we communicate. You can use various different creative angles in order to take that story out there to the market. But overall brand values, you need to be true to what you stand for. And that's what will actually impact the brand equity.
So I think story keeping is a very powerful concept over here, and it's one of the beautiful things I think the audience can take away, because when a lot of agencies or maybe the corporate that think, what's the next big story?
Yeah.
What you need to do is how you go deep into your own story and take the audience deeper into your story as well. That's what's missing out here mostly.
Yes.
And Kaushala, so you were telling, back in the days there were no digital marketing, it was mainly television and banner, and now you're into story keeping. We are moving into a complete new age of marketing with AI coming up, with the metaverse coming up in the future too. So how can brands and companies connect with the audience in this new age of marketing compared to before?
So Jude, most of the companies do this mistake. They go only by the trends. Of course, now the buzzword is AI. In terms of how, to what extent your brand should be adopting has to be carefully thought through. There are a lot of leaders who do encourage the teams to use AI. Of course, we use a lot of AI in terms of our campaigns as well, because it's cost effective, and of course it's creative, and you have to showcase as that you're staying ahead of the rest of the competitors as well. But you've got to do it with a lot of caution. There are certain ethics that we believe in terms of what you shouldn't do and what you should be doing, and how you should be using a certain technology. So you have to be mindful as well. So I always believe in this. Whatever that is not right for the culture, or you have to always think that how it could impact your brand. So with a little bit of cautious, you can be creative. You need to adopt all of this, and we are obviously looking, it's a constant learning process for us marketers, because we've never learned about this in our textbooks, but we read so much, and then there's a lot of people that we meet out there, and we would actually discuss certain things and adopt these trends. So I strongly encourage everyone to adopt and try out the trends, but it's not only about the trends. You've got to take that calculated risk in terms of how you should be using it, and how you should be seen out there using those particular trends.
Beautiful. I think that's one of the key issues, right? Rather than just jumping on a trend that's going on, you have to really look into the core of your brand itself.
Yes.
And then embrace a strategy based on that. Because
Absolutely.
you're just jumping from branch to branch without any direction.
Yes, you just have to be very careful in what you embrace as well.
Yeah.
You should never be laid back and not be one of those laggards who doesn't really jump into that brand wagon, but you need to be careful.
You gotta be very mindful, I think.
Yes,
That's perfect.
That's actually the word.
Yes.
You have to be mindful.
Very true. And today, Kaushala, marketing is the access to marketing is very much open through social media, through influencers coming up, through content creators. So in this era, do you feel the consumer's perspective? Because at the end of the day, marketing is about serving the consumers, right? Telling them, educating them, adding value to them, and educating them to make the right choices. Do you feel today the consumers are more empowered, or are they getting manipulated by this incredible marketing opportunity?
Jude, I would say that consumer is very well empowered these days because that information is available out there, so they can do their own research, and they're very cautious also in terms of mindful in terms of the decisions that they can make as well. So they're very empowered, but it is up to the consumer as well not to get manipulated, because it's a lot of hyper personalizations that the consumer expect these days as well. Sometimes, with our lifestyles, we would not have the times that we actually spend in terms of absorbing these commercial messages have changed, certainly, right? So the consumers have to be mindful, because I've seen myself, there are certain consumers who would see these AI generated videos,
They probably
and you have your especially our parents, they would actually believe in it, and they think that this is sometimes it can be a very wrong message that people are trying to give in, and then they believe in it. So that's why they need to be mindful, and so I don't think they're manipulated at all, but I think they are in a stage where they are empowered. So they have all the information that they need to make the correct decisions.
Beautiful. I think that's one of the big messages out there which we gotta send. Like, you always have control of yourself. It's just the resources that you use to verify things is very important.
Absolutely.
Like you said, if it's an AI video, there are sources to verify today. If you just blindly take it, that's where you get the manipulation. So marketing is not the problem. The people who use marketing the wrong way is the problem.
Yes.
But they get, again, the opportunities there today, because if you're going like 40 years back, if you put a newspaper article, there were not much information for people to verify that.
Yes.
But today it's a very different world.
Yes.
People have enough access to verify the information. So I think the key message would be, embrace the opportunity.
Yes.
Be very open-minded.
Of course.
Very
yes.
important.
You need to be very open-minded in terms of what information that you should actually take into your life.
Beautiful, Kaushala. I think the marketing branding, you have really mastered it. And today you are a leader. You are the vice president and the chief marketing officer of a private bank. So let's walk into your leadership philosophy right now.
Right.
So there are two different philosophies by which the world goes. Leadership by commanding, where you give commands and you expect the person to do it. And then the other part is leadership through humanity, where you get the consent from people, you connect with them. How do you see these two in the equilibrium?
I honestly believe in leadership through humanity. That's my personal belief, because leadership is about inspiring people. You've got to get people to like you, although you can argue, you don't need to be liked to be a leader, but you need to have a following. People need to believe in what you say, and it's not just to have a following as well, but you need to really inspire them. You need to be charismatic to actually make them do the correct things. And of course, for me, leadership is something, marketing can be taught, right?
Okay.
And finance, you can learn finance.
Yeah.
But leadership, they say sometimes there's this argument whether leaders are born or you can learn leadership. Of course, we attend certain seminars and we do attend certain master classes into how we can actually learn these different leadership styles. But leadership is something where you actually need to grow into it. You need to learn it with the expertise that you actually come across, various experts that are in the field, and it's a lot of experience. It's culmination of a lot of experience that you kind of groom into a leader.
Okay.
So yes, your personality will over time change with all these experiences, the knowledge, all the things that you experience, you grow into that. So I believe that leaders have to be taking that humanitarian perspective, because they have to be empathetic. And also, Jude, these days, leaders in the companies these days have a very big challenge. And that would be that they have to be leaders to there are 3 to 4 generations, the baby boomers, the Generation X, and of course the millennials, and also the Gen Alphas who are like 15 years who would come into the workplace soon. So you need to actually cater your style to fit into most of these generations. And those generations, the way they behave, the way they think are completely different. And how do you get yourself relevant into all of these people?
So personally, as a leader, how do you manage these generational differences when you lead teams. Let's say there's a team with the millennials, that team also has Gen Zs. How do you manage that kind of team?
Yeah, so there is a difference that when we interview the Gen Z, there is a difference that we see in terms of their commitment, how their outlook to life is. They believe, the Gen Z especially, they want purpose. They want to know exactly why they're a part of the team. They don't want to be just told. They need to be feeling involved in that whole situation, right? So that's where the emotional intelligence, which I mentioned, and also the empathy comes into play. When you walk into a room, as I said earlier, you need to be able to read the room, and you need to be able to figure it out in terms of what you would be looking up to, or what another person will look up to in their lives could be completely different. So how I could be inspiring you or to keep you motivated, and what I would be talking to you would be completely different to another person. So it's not easy. It is very, very time consuming, and of course sometimes a bit overwhelming as well. But that's the beauty of it as well.
In a world that is, going fast, I think this is a very important point, because sometimes you think about, going to a room, talking to everyone would solve the matter. But sometimes you need to connect in a very individual level, right? And that takes a lot of patience. How important, and why do you think most people don't have patience right now?
Yes.
And I want you to tell them, why is it so important? And how can leaders embrace patience? Of course, they have the stress of hitting the targets. Of course, they have the stress of the performance. With all those chaos happening, how can they embrace patience into their life so that they can lead different generations in a very productive way?
So everyone has to have a certain level of patience. I think especially for me in my corporate life, I strongly believe in patience, because otherwise sometimes when you come out there and give maybe the stress that we get from our superiors, the way we convert and the way we deliver it to our team has to be different. If you give the same stress load that you get in a very raw manner, that's not going to work. You need to see what your employees or your team skills are and distribute that particular workload in a way that they would be able to deliver it well. So that's where our patience come into place. And when you lead with the humanitarian perspective first, then I think the patience is something which will definitely help.
Yeah, I think without patience you can't lead people, isn't it? Because people are different.
Yeah.
And patience is what helps you to see through them. Sometimes they have a problem, they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You need to have the patience and that openness for them to come and speak to you.
Yes.
Because unless you really help them to figure out a problem they're going on, their performance will be hindered for sure.
Yes.
And you just can't blame them either as a leader. That's what leader is. You take the burden to your hands. So if you look at Sri Lanka right now, what is one of the biggest leadership gaps you see right now? And how would you think you can take this opportunity to see how we can address it?
Jude, I feel the biggest leadership gap is the fact that you have various generations of people, and how you cater and how you adjust your style to cater to these various generations.
I think that's what we talked about. I think that's the main thing, is it?
Yes, yes.
Because handling generations is not an easy thing.
Yes.
Different mentalities, different value systems. Like you said, the Gen Zs were more into meaningful, whereas the millennials, they're on the grind of climbing the corporate ladder.
Yes.
Different perspectives.
Sometimes the motivational levels of those, that generation, especially the baby boomers who wanted to kind of, perform, work hard and then see the results, as opposed to generations have passed. So what we see is now we're not the same generation as our parents. We would define success in a different manner.
Yeah.
And of course, the youngsters would define success probably in the freedom that they
Very true.
enjoy.
Very true.
So it's very different, your definition of success. So the leaders need to show to these particular, whoever the subordinates who report to you, to what actually matters to them. And the day you realize that, then you will be a strong leader.
Very sure. And if you can use like 3 values, a youngster or maybe who's in the mid, who wants to be a leader one day, 3 values. We have touched the emotional intelligence part.
Yes.
3 out-of-the-box values that you can give that could shape the future leaders, what would it be?
Mainly, I think we've spoken about integrity and emotional intelligence. As a leader, what you need to do is you need to adapt to their mindset.
Adaptability.
Yes, adaptability is a key. And then, of course, to be agile. You wouldn't know what sort of changes. You have to always be open to embrace changes and be agile. So that will be one of the other key virtues that will actually make them stand out from the rest of the leaders. And also you need to be motivating them in a manner that would be, you need to identify their own habits and traits that will actually motivate them and cater accordingly.
Beautiful.
So that will be those things that will make them successful.
Very beautiful. I think your success speaks a lot about your craft in marketing and also in leadership, and more to be revealed in the upcoming DDF for sure.
Yes.
So Kaushala, we just went through the deep journey about your field of expertise, marketing and branding. I think audience took a lot away from that. I think I need to take this direction into climbing the corporate ladder,
Okay.
because it's one of the biggest challenges that youngsters are going through. People are a bit concerned about what exactly you're going to face in terms of politics, in terms of different obstacles that you have to go through. So personally, you have started from as a management trainee, and you have come to become the vice president today. How was your story in climbing the corporate ladder?
Yes, Jude, it was certainly not an easy one.
Yeah.
Right? I've basically gone through most of the, I've gone through all the steps in terms of the marketing journey, what those, in terms of the career positions and all of that. So in terms of climbing up the corporate ladder, first and foremost, what I need to tell is that you should not expect shortcuts.
Okay.
You should not go into a job. I believe in growing into a job.
Beautiful.
Right? So when you go into a job, what happens is your skill levels, your talent, it might not be enough. But when you grow into a job, you're confident, you're wise, and there's a certain set of skills which I strongly believe that has helped me to grow into this job. And that would be, it's not purely the talent, but it's a lot of emotional intelligence. If you don't have that emotional intelligence, you will not be able to stay where I wouldn't have been able to come to where I am today. And also, it's about consistency. It's about showing up and being there and doing that job whenever, no matter which challenge you face, never give up. So consistency, emotional intelligence, and also empathy. Empathy about people around you, and also who you work with really matters to grow into the position that I am here right now.
I love the point you said about you should grow into the job, where people are just about accumulation all the time. Very less amount of people think, how am I going to go and provide service? I'm going to add value to the company. Everybody thinking, okay, I need to get the job. What am I going to get? What promotions I'm going to get? What bonus I'm going to get? But whereas you went in a very complete different mentality. Where did that mentality come in? Where you come as a service person rather than a taker? Where did it come for you?
Actually, I see this a lot when youngsters come into the company, or even when I interview a lot of people. They do expect a lot from the company, and in terms of what's in it for them.
Yeah.
So it's not always about that. It's about, if you want to be successful, if you want to be remembered, if you want to be a strong leader, of course, being a leader means you have to have a lot of followers. You need to give and basically take. So basically, there's so much that I believe that you should give into the company. So it's that mindset that you first have to craft and create, and also basically figure out what is it that I'm going to do and how am I going to add value to the position that I am currently in, and also how am I going to add value to the company. Because for me, at the moment, the strategies that we set, we have our 5-year strategies or 10-year strategies. It's the things that has happened in Sri Lanka. with the economic crisis and of course the tsunamis and then of course the COVID and all that. Sometimes you have to be very agile,
Absolutely, isn't it?
right? So those sort of qualities really help you in terms of having how you can actually adjust yourself and grow into the job that you're doing.
Yes.
So for me to come to this position where I am now, it's a combination of all those characteristics that has shaped me, that has groomed me and helped me to achieve where I am today.
Very true, because there are two ways of living, right?
Yeah.
You can live to focus on the accumulation part, or you can live to give.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you focus on giving, you might not have the benefits at the instant,
Yeah.
but you're growing into a person
Yes.
where you're putting yourself in a position when the timing is ready,
Yes.
you're going to get the benefits
Yes.
for all the work you put in.
Yeah.
But when you just try to focus on, okay, from the day one, how am I going to gain?
Yeah.
You're not in the process.
Yes.
How,
Yeah.
and the process is the most important thing.
Yes.
Having
Definitely.
patience
Yeah.
in that. So let's just go through, because climbing the corporate ladder itself is a process, right?
Yeah.
So in a place where talent and effort is there, what do you think is the most breakthrough point? Is it talent per se, or can effort take over talent in corporate sector?
I must say, you actually need a little bit of intelligence as well.
Okay.
Right? Otherwise, you won't be able to perform. For example, if you take the skills, certain skills, you can learn, be it accounting or be it marketing. There's so much that you can learn. But there are certain things like emotional intelligence and empathy and all that. It's about how you focus and how you actually learn by yourself.
Yeah.
Because there are no schools that's going to teach you in these sort of characteristics. So in terms of I remember when I first went into the interview, I remember the manager asking me, where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? And then at that time, you're very young and you're naive and you would say, oh, maybe a manager. Well, of course, I did achieve that. But the thing is,
And you're going way beyond.
Thanks. But for me, it was not only about what the company can do for me. It was always about what can I give to the company and how can I position certain brands, or how can I make certain projects a reality. Because when you keep on focusing on positions and what you're going to get, you will not be focusing on your job. So what it was for me, it was taking one day at a time and giving my best shot. And always that question, am I good enough, kept me going to be the best version of myself.
Yes.
So I think one should be humble enough, be grounded enough, whichever position that they take on, whichever challenge that they take on. That's what's going to probably carve you into a better person, I would say. So, and also about the network is one thing that you have to remember, that sometimes the titles or the jobs that you do can be forgotten, but people will remember who you are as a human being. So those things have really helped me to come to where I am today. So it's not just about, it was a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
It was, I can say that I can work smart right now, but it was a lot of hard work in initial days that you have to put in, and, creating that network, and of course, helping people out, helping each other. You work with a lot of colleagues, a lot of peers, the subordinates. It's about understanding them, reading the room before you go into a certain meeting or before you go into a certain project. Having that emotional intelligence, that has been a key virtue.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you said, making people remember what you did, and that comes purely from the effort and the commitment that you go through. Like, you remember people based on how hard they grinded, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have gone through many projects
Yeah.
in your life. You have done wonderful campaigns, which we talked about. But then you recognize people based on the effort they give.
Yeah.
So I want to know, I want you to give a few tips to the youngsters. How can they get this mentality of being a giver, a go-giver, more than a go-getter,
Okay.
and be a committed person to their craft?
Yes, so I think one of the key things that the youngsters should remember is, you should be a person who's dependable. So when you create that mindset minds of the others who you work with. It could be your boss, it could be your peers. When someone is dependable, they would always go to that person and they would create a lot of trust in that person.
Yeah.
Right? So when you create a lot of trust, there is obviously integrity, for me personally, is given. You have to be having a lot of integrity to the place you work. Otherwise, your job role or your career will be very short-lived.
Very true.
Right?
Integrity is something you can develop, or is it something you're born with?
Well, you are born with it, of course, but I think you can develop it
Develop it as well.
because it has to be in your nature, and you have to take a cautious effort or a cautious step towards preserving that, right? So no matter what, there can be a lot of opportunities that's just given to you in a platter, but it's the choice you make.
Very true.
You have to make that choice with a lot of intelligence, where you should not betray the company that you work for
Big
or
time.
anyone that you work with, because that's going to carry a long way.
Because that's the reputation you're going to make.
Absolutely. It's going to help your career. It's going to mold your career.
Yeah.
So that's a key virtue.
And based on what, that's why I've seen you. Like, you worked in different companies, in different sectors,
Yeah.
but that integrity and the personal branding that you retained in every company you worked,
Yeah.
that opened you the space.
Yes. Yeah.
Had you had a black mark, then it would not, the industry would not open up to you. I
Absolutely.
think that's one thing which is critical for people, because they're very short-term oriented. They try to do the cuts, and that could leave a black mark on them that would literally destroy their career.
Yeah.
But having the patience to be yourself, stick to your values,
Yeah.
and stick to the commitment that you're focused on, and doing with integrity is extremely important, isn't it?
Yes. Because it's a small world, right? It's a small world that we work with, and you will cross paths. Like if who I worked with 10 years ago, I'm working with that person right now today.
Yeah.
It's of course, we've been in different organizations, but we would meet that person again. So that reputation that you have left in that person's mind would make or break your career.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult sometimes, but you have to make that cautious effort in terms of holding up to your values. That value system that you build on, because I personally believe I strongly work within a value system. And when you work within that value system, it guides you,
Big time.
it disciplines you. And discipline is something which is very much needed
Yeah.
in terms of how you can retain your career and how you will be known out there in the market. And of course, in terms of your personal, in terms of your discipline as a character, of course, just on a lighter side, my mother, I think, still disciplines me in terms of, she would still call me up, even if it is, right sharp at 5, she'll call me and ask,
Okay.
are you coming home,
Okay.
So there's some sort of a discipline in terms of the character that's needed as well in order to, grow and be a
Yeah.
better person.
If you can name about 3 values
Yes.
that you carried, I know there are a lot of values.
Yes.
And a lot of practices that you did. It's not easy. It can't be summed up in 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But if there's 3 values that help you to thrive in this corporate climbing to where you are today,
Yes.
what would it be in summary? 3 values
Yeah.
that the audience can take away from.
Number 1 would be integrity.
Okay.
And 2, it would be the emotional intelligence and the empathy. I would club that both together.
Yeah.
And in terms of the third one would be consistency.
Big time.
Maybe whether I like it or not, but I think being consistent has really helped me in terms of growing, and also being dependable
Yeah.
comes with that. So those would be the 3 key values. that
Because at the end of the day,
advise.
anybody can do a great job once a year. Doing that over and over again for a long distance
Yes.
or a long range, that's what greatness is about.
Yes. You should never be tired and be seen as somebody you give up.
Yeah.
Right? You could be very tired. I mean, there are certain times that you feel like, how am I doing this? How
Yeah.
am I going to, hold on to it? But just be there, show up, and give your best shot.
Okay.
And yes, you will be successful.
So basically, to any youngster who's about to, let's say, going through a challenge in the corporate ladder, losing faith in the corporate ladder,
Yeah.
if there's one message you can give that person is on the brink,
Yeah.
talented, efforted, but something's going on with them, that they're losing faith in the corporate ladder, what message would you give
Jude,
there?
we all have our bad days.
Okay.
Even, if you believe in your stars, and if there are bad periods that we have gone through. Even in my career, I personally gone through certain downfalls. It could be personal downfalls that could be impacting, or your career. You could be sometimes not be happy in a particular workplace. So that's where, taking one day at a time. I've spoken to a lot of people who are very stressed about their certain situations that they are in. They're not sure that career they have chosen is the correct path, or whether they're in the right organization, or it's about a lot of things that can be, if impacting them. But you should just hang in there. Take one day at a time. Be strong. Just be there. Just hold on to it, and you will come out of it for sure. Because the bad periods won't stay forever.
As long as you hold on to it.
Exactly. I mean, you can feel very down in certain periods of time, or certain even job changes can be very stressful. So there can be a lot of things that can impact. A lot of stressful things can go wrong. Maybe the projects that you invested so much time in your effort can actually not be successful. Maybe certain launches can go wrong and it cannot be successful. But just be out there, be consistent. Keep your circle of friends, the network going strong. Of course, you have your personal life, and then you can maybe focus on a few hobbies that you know to make yourself better. Maybe it could be like a fitness routine. There are things that you can do as well to support you. So that's the advice that I should give. So take one day at a time.
Kaushala, I think I want to let people know they see the success in you about you being the vice president, but in your personal life, you're a mother, you're a wife, and you have a family life too. So what I want to go to right now is how do you manage your work and your personal life? So what I want to start right now is like dealing work-life balance. It's something you can achieve. Is it something you struggle with, or is it just a myth that people think here about?
Jude, honestly, I know there's no such right thing or wrong thing. What I'm going to tell you is basically how I manage.
Okay.
Because see, your life takes a complete 180 angle change when the kids come into your life. And my kids are very small. They're just 3 years and 4 years.
Okay.
2 girls.
Okay.
So at the beginning, it was lot of I don't believe in actually balancing it. You need to kind of integrate work and your personal life in a very smooth manner. So there is a lot of support that you require. And because being a mom is a full-time role itself. And then your job commands that many hours, and that you need to give your fullest as well, right? So if you have a lot of people who I think study well and they come into the workplace, do kind of step back. I have seen a lot of my friends taking that step back when they become a mom. So for me, my mother was there to help, and I did create sort of a support system around me, and that's what actually helped me to keep it going. And in terms of whether there are certain sacrifices that one would need to do, because you can't have it all, because there's obviously the social life, your friends are there, you can't give in your 100%, right? So in my list of priorities, obviously my kids would come as number one, and so I would need to give that attention to them as a mother.
Yeah.
And I want to be there with them 100%. When I'm with them, I'm with them. So I do try to give my 100% to work. When I'm at work,
Yeah.
it's just pure work. So I want to be present and be completely present at that given moment. That's how I try to manage things.
It's the attention you give all the time, isn't it?
Yes, it's the attention that I give, especially when they need me, when they want to play with me. If you have to be an elephant or be a pony, if they need your attention, you need to give them that attention. So it's not an easy task. You always wonder, because there are a lot of sacrifices that you need to make.
Yeah.
You need to, it's not that during, especially say these days they're having the school holidays. So there are times that you actually wonder when you're at work what they're doing at home, but your work commands and demands that sort of presence as well. So it's difficult, but yes, it's how you manage.
It's always coming up with the right strategy, right? You need to have business strategies, also you need to have personal strategies too.
Yeah.
So,
But I have to tell you, it's not easy because every day is a challenge for me, because there is always that you're wondering, especially when they were really small, you will get the support from outside like a nanny to be there. But if there's some certain days that she's not there, then how do you manage the situation? So it's a struggle.
Yeah. So let's just go through your day rituals. What are the things you do during the day from the work and also your personal life? So let's just go through your day. What's Kaushala Amarasekara's general days, so that the audience can see how can people use rituals to create this work-life integration.
So what I do is I drop the kids to school, and that school ride is something very interesting for the three of us, because they love to sing with me, chat with me, and then we basically plan out the day in their own words. So that's what I enjoy most. So there is a little bit of time during that school drop to until work starts. If I can manage to go to the gym, I would. That's something which I started about a year ago, because I realized sometimes it helps you to get through the stress as well. So, and also to obviously keep fit and healthy. So a lot of people ask, how do you manage? But you plan your day in a way that then when you go to work, you're fully dedicated to the job that you do. And then of course after 5 I really try my best to go home as soon as possible. So I might have to sacrifice certain events that I'm invited to. Maybe when you earlier you could meet your friends and you can go out, hang out with them, but those things have to be sacrificed, because there are certain office events that maybe you need to be there. So then you'll have to have your week scheduled in a way that you can maybe stay out just once a week, but other than that you will have to be at home, especially before the kids sleep. You want to be with them, you will sleep with them, and that's how the planning goes. So apart from that, I'm also a part of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing Association. So there are big events and activities that we organize as well. So you have to give your time and your schedules, especially when you're busy, how you integrate things. But it is sometimes very overwhelming, but once you complete a particular task or a project, that satisfaction that you get is also quite rewarding.
So how does, it's beautiful, Kaushala. I need to know, how does lessons you learn from your corporate life and the lessons you learn from your personal life, being a mother, being a wife, how does those lessons help you in one another?
So it's actually what the lessons in terms of emotional intelligence and empathy, that you can practice it at home as well. You get to understand and be with your kids in a more lively manner. And also the fact that because you are there when you want to give your 100% to them when you are with them, so that kind of makes that time that you spend with them more meaningful and more lively as well. So of course there are no strategies and all that. The business strategy is not really practiced at home, but in terms of the characteristics, in terms of how we handle people, those really do help your personal life as well. But to be honest, it's sometimes I would like to avoid it at all costs possible, to run into a burnout situation.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's too much to take. There are certain the confrontations that would happen between the people that at home, their support systems, all that. So then how do you manage that? It's not an easy task. It's very stressful, but those sort of things, how you manage the stressful situations in your workplace, you can apply the same theories at home as well.
Beautiful. It's all about organizing and scheduling the things and having the right priorities listed accordingly. That's one of the most important for work-life balance, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
But that's something that people lose when they climb up the ladder, when they become successful. They get their ego up as well. But you have somehow made a way to not go in the ego way, but go in the humanity way. How important it is to be successful and humble at the same time, like you are.
Thank you for that. Yes, I think for me, I always want to be humble and stay grounded. Because at the end of the day, whatever the titles that we hold or whatever the projects that we do, we're all human beings. And it's about, for me, I get inspiration even from the tea lady to the cleaning lady in the office. Because there are certain things that I get inspired in terms of what they do. Those stories are kind of amazing. So that's how I see things, and that's how I actually learn so much from everyone. And I would like to give that respect to everyone that I meet. And in terms of those are key values that I have retained in my life. It's a part of my personality that I would give that respect in order to get the respect back.
Beautiful. And I believe, you can have a lot of career success, but you need to be human, because that's who we are. We are a different species. We have intellect, we have the emotional intelligence. And if you're not human, what's the point of going to greatness, but you lose your main value that makes who you are? And do you think it's something that you're born with, or you can build it, the humility part?
I think it's something which you can definitely practice. You don't need to be born with it. It's a matter of having that intelligence, intellect, emotional intelligence, and that understanding. And in order to be grounded, it's about, one day you can have it all, one day you can lose it all. So you need to be in a position to embrace everything that happens in life. So I don't see any other way that I could actually be, no matter what career success or what personal success or, what you achieved, as if you're not a good human being. So for me, the greatest value would be to be grounded, to have that humility within you, and basically embrace the humanity.
That is such a very powerful factor, isn't it? That's what's missing today with technology coming up. We are losing the human spirit. I think we need to connect back. The purpose of this whole deep dive movie is to inspire people to unleash their human spirit, which I clearly see in you with all the accolades you have. So Kaushala, just to end things and leave something very, compelling to the audience, if somebody is there right now watching this at the young stage you were, what's the final message you want to leave them with to make a difference in their life?
So you don't need to have it all or be it all or have that confidence from day one onwards. It's all about how you take one day at a time, how you be a good human being, embrace the challenges that you face on a daily basis. And for me, what kept me going every day was, if I wanted something in life, I've got to make it happen. There's nobody that's going to, give that to you in a platter. So why not? I work towards what I want. So on a daily basis, that keeps reminding me, and it keeps me grounded that you meet so many human beings, and I think it's such a wonderful world out there that you see the good in people, and you've got to be careful in terms of how, of course, the bad side of it. But even when I travel, say on a normal road, I would always see, the struggles that people go through, and I would have that understanding in order to keep myself grounded. So the message that I want to give to everyone out there is, be persevering, embrace the challenges, and take it one day at a time. Have your big dreams, but it's you who can actually make it happen.
That's absolutely beautiful, Kaushala. I think your story has so much of depth that could really inspire the youngsters and any age category who's watching it. And it's beautiful. And I believe you really enjoyed the show as well. And I really enjoyed communicating with you, connecting with you. And your story deeply, personally touched me as well, how far you have come.
Thank you so much, actually, Jude, for this opportunity. It's been a lovely day, and working with you has been quite amazing. And I think thank you for having me and making me a part of this.
Beautiful, Kaushala. Thank you very much then. Really appreciate it.